Super excited to talk today with Brent, Camp's branded LSA whisperer, right?
Hello. Yes, I've heard LSA guru now.
LSA guru, LSA whisperer. We're very excited to talk about LSA. This is all part of our digital download series, going back to the basics, back to the fundamentals.
Yep.
We've talked about GA4. We've talked about Google Search Console. We've talked about Bing Webmaster Tools. Don't sleep on that one. Love that one. Now we're talking about one of Google's really fundamental programs for local services, local service ads, LSAs, right?
Yep, that's right.
It's my opinion. I think your opinion too. If you're not doing LSAs, you probably should be.
You need to.
You're missing out.
Yep.
Right. Talk to me. What is LSA? Just for I probably most people have heard of it, but let's just set the stage. What is LSA?
Well, you'll see it at the very top. I mean, that's the first things first is Google LSA. Any type of search that you're doing on any service or service trade that you're doing, LSA will take the top spot.
Yes.
So if you're not wanting to try to be in that top spot, if you don't want as many leads, don't do LSA. But if you want to compete these days, make sure you have a GLSA account, LSA account that's then connected to your GBP account. The two are interchangeable, and now LSA is potentially moving, and now LSA is moving over to Google Ads. So the optimizations are going to be, extremely important to make sure that you're ahead of the curve when that switch happens over to the Google Ads platform.
Talked about a few things: LSA, local service ads, GBP as well, Google Business Profile. They're connected. They are definitely a married couple, right?
Absolutely.
You've got to have one with the other. You can't have an LSA profile without a GBP,
Yep.
Google Business Profile. I think the other important call out, it is probably one of the highest ROAS, return on ad spend for our clients. And it is a pay per lead program, not a pay per click.
It's pay per lead, yeah, not pay per click. And the reason it's one of the highest, ROAS leads is because you have people that need help. They're looking for help. They might not know who to call. So when you need help, let's say your house is 200 degrees, if possible. Let's say your house
Hopefully you're not inside of it.
Really hot. Well, I don't know. I've had that once, and I did have to use LSA, but the house was almost 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's
I'm not sure who to call.
Yeah.
You get that list, you're going right down the list, and if it's like ServiceNow, it's easy for the customer because you just have companies that you need to call. There's nothing else that you need to know. You're just going straight down that list and seeing who can help you right now because you've got an issue.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, capturing the demand that's out there, LSA is the ticket for sure. I love that. When we talk about, I think a common misconception, all the audience members are probably like, oh yeah, we know what LSA is, Camp, come on. The reason we're kind of starting at the top and setting the stage is the common misconception is it's a set it and forget it program, which is absolutely not the case anymore.
Yep.
Or not anymore. Never had been the case. When people think that it's a set it and forget it, okay, set your budget, set your bidding type or bidding, what's it called?
Your bidding strategy?
Bidding strategy,
Yep.
bidding mode, whatever it is. Okay, set it and forget it. It's that can make that cost per lead skyrocket. That can make no leads come in because you're not playing in Google's playground. People love, Google wants to see the engagement. So I'm super excited to talk about kind of the different factors in ranking that we have control over as part of LSAs.
Yeah. I would say that originally, I think LSA was a set it and forget it platform where people, they got it going and then they got their profile set up. They got some pictures in there. They followed the steps, and then some leads came in.
Set their budget to $1 million.
Set their budget. Well, either they set their budget to something, but then they just did leave it, and so that's where it's very important. There's a number of different steps that you can take, not only to optimize, but to tweak to see if it's making any changes and making any adjustments and actually improving that LSA platform of ranking in different areas.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you kind of look at it and you're like, what can I even do?
I think before we talk about the 7 key strategies that we're here to talk about today of what we can do and influence within LSA, what's one thing that you see, what's one big mistake that you've seen in LSA accounts that business owners make?
I think they don't respond quick enough to the urgency of these leads. They treat them like, they're not, I guess, of a high importance. When I feel, the 3 R's, your radius, responsiveness, and your reviews,
Yeah.
I feel like responsiveness is now starting to move to that very top.
Of course.
Google they like when you handle the leads with like urgency. So if you're, missing phone calls, if you're not responding quick on those message leads, if you're not providing that service that Google has put you into that top spot, if you don't handle it with urgency, you're going to start to see your ranking lower, in my
100%.
opinion.
I mean, I think that's perfectly well said. And I think of it like Google is a friend of mine that is recommending a business. And if that business doesn't handle their business well, doesn't respond quick, doesn't answer the phone, it's going to stop recommending,
right?
Like a friend would,
right?
Like I'm not going to tell you to go to a restaurant if the service is bad,
right?
Right? It's just not going to happen. So responsiveness rating, yeah, I think I completely agree. That is a big mistake that we see, and it's easy to take the eye off the ball with all of like the AI answering services that are out there. Like, oh, well, my responsiveness rating could be 100% because I have an AI answering service, and I don't think that's the case. Like,
no.
These leads have to be handled with care because Google's listening to every single call.
Yep, they are. And, they're prioritizing the people that they can see are handling these calls with importance and handling the text messages with importance. And that's why you're seeing all those little bubbles pop up of, we'll respond in a few minutes, respond in an hour.
Such a good call.
Who's near the top of that list? It's all the people that are responding very quickly.
Very quickly. Yeah, it's such a good call out. Okay, cool. So let's jump into kind of the 7 pillars, 7 best practices of setting up an LSA and what we believe to be the winning recipe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of them that comes to mind is the bidding mode or the bidding strategy that we have. There's a couple of different options within the profile. I'd love to hear your thoughts on which one's the best and why.
Well, I like to follow any kind of like recommendation from Google that they recommend. I always go with, and I think that is the best strategy. So you can tweak it down to, get a little more granular with cost per lead. That's fine if you have a little bit smaller budget or you have, you don't want to be overpaying for leads. But if you have that LSA out there that wants to capitalize and get as many leads as you can, follow that maximize lead strategy and follow what Google recommends and go for that maximize cost per lead.
Yeah, I think so. Instead of setting like a manual max per lead cap, Google recommends that we should have maximized leads on. I mean, kind of let the AI do its thing,
right?
And make sure the other buckets that we're going to cover are doing well, and that's going to help it recommend you more.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like the bidding mode is something that people kind of get stuck on. It's like, okay, well, I kind of want to control my costs, but I don't think it's the mindset to have. You for a program like this, a cost per lead program, let it run.
And I think that people do get stuck in a like game the system.
Yeah.
They'd like to tweak it and be like, well, I set it, here, and then all of a sudden we saw calls jump up. But there is a, reconfiguration every time you're changing that bidding mode that Google needs to learn and then, get you back out there again. So it's usually best to set that at the recommended, Google suggestion and then go from there.
Yeah, that's it. I like the pivot from there as needed. That's great. Okay, so moving on to number 2, I think we touched on this a little bit around, hey, answer the phone.
Yeah.
I mean,
and your messages.
Your rank depends on it. Answer your phone, answer your messages. I think Google's algorithm relentlessly tracks your responsiveness rating, and it will ebb and flow based on its recommendations based on that responsiveness rating.
Yeah.
There's one call out that I'd love to talk to you about is something that Camp actually did a video on because it came out really, really quickly and we wanted our clients to know about it super, super quick, was this extension piece.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Well, if you get a message lead, it's going to have an extension. It's going to have a phone number that's not the potential customer's phone number. It's a Google tracking number with an extension. So when you call that number back, Google's able to then track how quickly you're responding to that message that came in with that tracking number because they weren't able to do that before. So there is no, they're not able to record that conversation, but they can show the duration of the call when you call it back and how quickly you do call it back if the customer leaves their phone number.
Yeah, it's a good call out. So Google's coming in saying, no, call this number with this extension so that we know that you called them back.
Yep.
We can kind of measure that interaction and add that to our responsiveness rating calculation.
Yep.
And then that influences your rankings.
It does, yeah. And I would say for message leads too, it's best to have a conversation.
Yeah.
If you have a message lead that's like, give us a call at this number. You're most likely not going to get a call from that person. So if you can engage them in a conversation and ask, how can we help you? That has a significantly higher potential to book than just a straight automation, call our office and we'll help you.
I completely agree. Yeah.
So that I would say step one, if you can get that quick response with help and then follow up with that call right away to get that booked, LSA is tracking on both angles and it's going to only help you raise up in your ranking.
Yeah. I think it's important not to call back the number that the customer gives you. It's to call back the Google number to get a hold of them. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's that measurement piece. Okay, cool. There's two other things that I think we should touch on with responsiveness rating, kind of one bundled into two, if you will. One is 24/7. I'm open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Should I set my LSA for that?
You can if you can handle it. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have meaningful interactions. If you're going to be open at 12 a.m. and someone calls you, you still need to have a meeting. So it doesn't mean that, you can just push it off to the answering service.
Yeah. I mean, if you need to shut your ad off, that's fine. But if you can be open, there's people home from work. There's people that have, issues that pop up at night. And if you want to maximize your lead potential with the ability to handle that call coming in with, good quality, keep that LSA running.
I think that's an important call out on the good quality piece because that goes into your responsiveness rating. It's not just answering the call. Google tracks it as a meaningful interaction. What does that mean?
Well, it means, first of all, that I think when somebody calls, they typically want to have, help nowish or soon. So if you've got an answering system that's like, okay, give us your number, then we'll call you back, I think that's just okay. As long as there's somebody answering. If it's like a person answering, that's fantastic.
Yes.
That's most important. But if you have a CSR team that can book calls and put people on, we can get you on the schedule for tomorrow morning, A+.
Yeah.
Keep that answering system going all night if they can do that.
Yeah.
But number one, making sure that they're answering, not just leaving a message. It's not just ringing and ringing and ringing. And then it turns into a missed call because the missed calls are the absolute worst. So answering and making sure that something can happen and they can get help out of that reach out that they're doing to the LSA profile.
Agreed. Cool. Responsiveness rating, letting the AI work maximize leads on bidding. Number 3, message and booking leads. One thing about messages that comes to mind for me is we talked a little bit about the extension that we need to start doing that. But when we talk about messaging and booking, I've always recommended that we need to be able to support the leads coming in.
Yeah.
Right. So when I can't just go flip these on, I'll get more leads. If I don't service them well, it's going to hurt me in the long run.
Mm-hmm. It could. I mean, it's hard. I mean, answering a message lead and booking a message lead, I think, is one of the hardest things to do in all of, the Google platforms. For some reason, people like to reach out, and then when they reach it back out, when the CSR reaches back out, it's just it's ghost town.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, engage in that conversation as quickly as possible and try to provide some sort of, I would say, question at first to get the people who messaged you talking, because they're going to get those alerts on their phone. And so if you're asking a question back, you likely will get some sort of response back.
Yeah.
And then develop that instant little trust when they can, know that this is a person helping me.
Yeah.
You can be out tomorrow morning or you can be out tonight. Let's book this thing.
Yeah, I love that. What about booking, instant bookings?
Turn the instant bookings on. Have them on if you can handle them.
Yeah, if you can handle them.
I think
it's exclusively through ServiceTitan.
Through ServiceTitan. There might be a couple other platforms out there, but ServiceTitan's the primary one. Yeah. But turn it on, and it's just that passive system of making sure that you're attacking booking leads or attacking leads coming in LSA from every angle. The bigger the net.
Yeah, bigger net is good. But with the ServiceTitan booking leads, we need to make sure that we're able to handle those internally, because they go straight to the calendar, right? So I've had clients put a ghost tech in place, and then dispatch reaches out and says, hey, confirming, and then assigning a real tech to that booking. Is that the way to do it? Am I on base there?
No, I think that's good. It's good to test that out. And I think making sure that the booking lead actually works, I think, is the most important. if it's working from beginning to end. So yeah, maybe having to test out your booking leads is a good option to try. But I think, as far as like booking strategy goes, people might not want to call, they might not want to text. These days, they might just want to book
Book an appointment.
And so, there's a couple steps that you can follow, and making sure that process is as slimmed down as possible. I think there's an option inside of Service Titan to have photos. I would say probably take that out. You could skip a couple of the steps and just make sure that is as streamlined as possible.
Yeah, I like reducing the friction there. Okay, cool. So you mentioned at the top of the episode of the 3 R's: radius, responsiveness, and reviews. And we've covered a lot of around response rate. I think that we've covered that base. We've hit that. That's probably the most important piece as we talk about customer interactions. Radius, the age-old debate, right? We were just talking about this before we turned the cameras on.
Yes.
Okay, zip codes first, counties first, cities. Can you help me build this burger? How do I stack that up?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting area, because I think that people they have their own little ways to do it, and then when they put different areas in, like they'll put a city in, and then they have a zip code, and then a little spot will get removed from the city,
right?
And then they're like, well, what did we do here? Overall, I prefer counties. Okay. If you can handle the radius of a county, cast a big net.
I like that.
And then if there's areas you don't want to go to, you can potentially negate those. But I would say, like, cast the biggest net that you can. Try to avoid those, negation areas that's underneath the service area.
When you say negation areas, just to confirm the meaning,
kind of that red area.
Yeah, like service areas that I don't service.
That you don't service.
I want to exclude those.
Yep, the exclusions.
The exclusion areas. Yeah,
I would leave those alone. And I would go for the county, throw the cities in there as well, and put the zips in as also. If you've got all of those, you can open up somebody's service area inside of the LSA, in the LSA profile itself, and see where they're servicing. And I'm very positive that the more you have in there, Google recognizes all of those cities and all of those zips, as well as the county.
Well, go ahead.
So I think, it's interesting when you kind of plug around and look at other profiles, you can see what cities they've entered into their profile. So I think overall, more is better.
I agree with you. And I heard this straight from Google at one point, where they said if they don't necessarily know where the search is happening, right? They have an idea, but they don't necessarily pinpoint where. Mm-hmm. They're going to recommend the businesses, the local service companies that have a little bit wider of a net.
Yep.
Because they want to serve the most relevant results to the search. And if they serve something that's not in the area, they don't want to serve that because it's not relevant to that searcher.
Right.
So bigger is better, in my opinion, in LSA.
Yeah. And if you're starting to get a bunch of leads that you absolutely don't want, you can potentially, dial it down a little bit. But I would say go for the bigger net and try to push. I would say try to look outside of your PPC service area and see what else might be out there and test the waters with LSA.
I like that. That's a good little nugget of like, okay, here's what my PPC is doing. Maybe I can couple that with my Service Titan data, the zip code report that I can get out of Service Titan, mm-hmm. Or any CRM. And then from there, I can test the waters, test a new market with LSA, kind of see if I can get outside that boundary a little bit.
And if you want to look at like what your competitors are doing in those areas, you can just Google search them and see that LSA pop up and see, oh, my competitor's going there. Why don't we test that out? Why don't we try that city?
Yeah, I like that. Cool. All right. So radius, not a lot we can do that there. It's very connected to the GBP. I shouldn't say not a lot we can do there, but we are where we are. This is how we can influence some of that. Okay. I'd love to transition us over to services and the service types, right? All those little check boxes that you can have. Mm-hmm. I like to check them all, right? Let's get them all checked. If I don't offer a service, obviously I'm not going to check it because I want to make sure I don't get charged for those types of leads. Really, really important to check as many as you can. I think casting a wider net. My question for you, what do you do with other?
I think turn it on.
You think so?
Yep.
Really? Why?
With AI, with everything that's been listening to leads and trying to make sure it's dialing in as much as it can, I feel like if you have leads that just are not for your business, I think Google is working towards the direction of knowing that this is not a good quality lead and making sure that you're not showing up in that strange other source, that other source,
Right.
like, water sprinklers or something. If somebody's searching for plumbing, I'd say keep it on. And then I feel like Google will start course correcting if it's getting bad leads. It's already auto disputing leads anyways. So it most likely will delete those or just not charge you for those leads if they're not good coming from the other profile. So I say keep it on.
Keep it on. I like that perspective a lot. I think it's going to depend on business needs for sure, on like, okay, I want to target into these different services. Maybe I'm really busy right now and I don't need those ones on, or I don't need other turned on. Or on the flip side of that, yeah, give me every lead throughout the door. I don't necessarily care if I waste a little bit of money on a job type that I don't service because I have other on. I'd rather get, what do I always say? I'd rather get 10 leads that maybe 7 of them are qualified, 3 of them are from that other category that I don't service, other than get 5 leads that I can't book or can't book.
Right.
Like I'd rather have the volume
Yep.
and then sift from there.
I would say that if you're doing, if you have a category that's like remodeling, and there's very expensive leads that come from there, like you can get $200 to $300 leads in the remodeling category. That might be good to dial that down a little bit to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need. But in your traditional services like plumbing, electrical, HVAC, I'd say keep those things wide open.
So I love that perspective, Brent, on getting your job types wide open, right? If you can handle the lead flow and you don't mind a few jobs that, or a few called leads that maybe you don't service, you can keep that volume up. I'm with you. Like, let's make sure we're aligned with business goals and pedal to the metal.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, you had mentioned GBP,
Yes.
LSA,
The married couple.
And
odd
the importance. Couple. Yeah, the odd couple. I think just overall what's really interesting about this and the importance of that connection is that Google is making it important.
Yeah.
So they're pushing both platforms together and interlinking them, which kind of scared people at first. It scared myself, where you're like, is GBP, is the Google Business Profile, is that going to be monetized? Are we going to have to now pay for those leads?
Right.
Because the connections are becoming so close and so important to each other. It's good that it's not. And it's good that we still have Google Business Profile thriving for a lot of different companies, along with the LSA. But the two are very intertwined. So if you have a connection break, one thing that we do very well is manage those connections and making sure that the accounts are working together and optimized and synchronized. If anything breaks, if that Google Business Profile disconnects, your LSA leads are off.
Yeah, they go down.
Yep.
I mean, and what you said about optimizing, making sure the profiles match each other is super important. Consistency is really important between the two profiles.
It is.
Inside of Google's ecosystem, you need to be saying the same things.
Yes, you have to be saying the same things. And Google wants things aligned. They want everything to match. So they don't want to have a bunch of different profiles with different phone numbers linking to other LSA names with like strange different naming conventions. They want everything linear and they want everything the same. And strangely enough, all the accounts that have those exact matches, they're sitting in at the top.
Yeah. I think there's another important connection point, which brings us to number 6 on kind of our 7 key strategies that we are talking about with LSAs is reviews. That connection point is so important because when I, as a consumer, when I'm looking at an LSA profile and I'm looking at, okay, there's this option, the reviews are super important for social trust. They're pulling them directly from GBP.
Yep. Pulling them directly from GBP. And there's also a factor of ranking with them. The more reviews that you get, Google has told us, again, when Google says it, like, listen, or make sure you're listening as best you can. But they've said to us, the more reviews you get, the better ranking that you're going to have. So yes. I know a lot of businesses, it's not always easy to get reviews, especially with there's a couple new parameters of getting reviews and how you get them. But if you're having it as a focus for your text, to push these reviews as best you can and have follow-up that comes from either like a text message, like tell us how we did, leave us a review here, you'll start to see that, flow right into the performance of your LSA.
Yeah, they're so intertwined, and I love the review connection piece because I always look at it like the saying, two birds, one stone. This is like four birds, one stone.
Right.
Because like you got your LSA profile for your reviews, you got social proof, you got your GBP. When your GBP pops, you can post those reviews on your website or at least reference them on your site. You can, like the testimonial piece of social proof is so many good opportunities from that. So one thing I want to hit home on is Google Notes has told us we are very connected into Google's ecosystem. We have a dedicated LSA rep here at camp. That high star rating and continuous volume of reviews heavily dictate your quality score and placement. There go your rating, your visibility.
Yeah, 100% correct.
The seventh best practice that we should absolutely talk about is one that goes unnoticed, and I'm going to couple two of them together. One being the little callouts, right? I think there's different callouts you can select within LSA to set your profile apart. LSA has become so competitive over these last couple of years that we need to be setting our businesses apart from our competition through these callouts. Like, what are some of them? All women owned. Family owned and operated.
Yep. And
20 years in business. Whatever the call outs are.
Satisfaction guarantee.
Yeah.
Yep. Things like that, like on-site pricing, price matching, things like that.
Yeah, it's such good call outs. And I think the other piece is people are looking at more, well, not just people, AI as well. We're all looking at the photos, the content on site, or excuse me, on the profile.
Yep. Keep them coming. Bring them in.
Yeah.
I think Google always likes new things. They like updated content. They have a Google business profile where you're allowed to put photos in there. Why not do the same thing for your LSA where you're showing like, here's just new fresh content. Here's our new truck wraps. Here's our new logo. Here's new jobs. Like, keep that flowing into LSA.
Happy customers, real photos, right? Yep. Not AI photos if you can handle it. Clean, pre-pressed uniforms with your techs. Selling the benefit, not just the feature, not just the box outside, right? But the benefit of having nice temperature controlled air,
right,
from an HVAC perspective. I think it's so important. Google's playground, they want you to play in it, and this is a way to play.
They do. Yep, it's true.
So we've talked about our 7 best practices. It's a lot, right? And the point of these digital download series, when we're getting back to the fundamentals, is what is one thing of these 7, or maybe something we haven't talked about? What's 1 or 2 things that a business owner could do tomorrow that takes 5 or 6 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, whatever, right? Quick hit to take action on LSA, what we talked about today.
I would say listen to some phone calls and see what's actually coming in through the platform and seeing how they're being handled. Like typically each phone call, it can cost like, $80 to $90, sometimes $100.
Yeah, it can
vary. Why not just take a quick listen or have, your digital marketing provider provide a call audit? We can do call audits on LSA calls and just get an idea of, did this call get handled appropriately? And then you can try to run ROAS reports and see like, what did we actually get from these LSA leads? So I just say get your hands dirty in the platform itself and just see what's actually happening when calls and message leads come in, especially message leads. If you're seeing message leads not get responded to, then there's a problem. So get inside the platform. But then number 2, I would say take a look and see if there's any areas you can start expanding a little bit further in your service area.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Service area, like just try it. When you have somebody that has a problem, they might be a little bit further than you're typically going, but you can kind of know that that's going to be a pretty good lead. So you don't need to spend...
The lead quality is good enough.
The lead quality is good. So, you don't need to try to hope that somebody goes to, clicks on a Google ad to then go to the website to then convert and make sure everything is aligned in that, in a PPC campaign. With LSA, you can take a little bit further out chance and see if some of those calls might pay off and just pay right back for themselves. You might get a $10,000 job for a place you never went before.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. So LSA, not a set it and forget it. We want people to go out there, listen to the calls that are coming in, check your responsiveness rating, making sure that you're handling with meaningful interactions with those calls. That's super, super important. It's probably one of the biggest ranking factors that we have. And then go take a look at your service area. See if you can push the boundaries just a smidge, just to see if you can test the waters on some new service areas, cast a little bit wider net. I'm going to add one. I think we need to look at that message leads pin to make sure people are calling that number back.
Right.
I'm going to keep saying that for a little bit longer now because it's a brand new development that we got directly from our LSA rep
last week.
I know you did a video on it. I think it's really important that we call that out to make sure people are leveraging that because it's a direct link into the measurement of that response rate.
It is. And if you're doing it properly, Google will respond by only helping you out. I think there's a lot of frustrated CSRs that are out there right now going, this is a completely different process. This is one more step I need to do. But it's only to help you and to show Google that you're handling these leads appropriately.
Okay, Brent, I am starting a tradition on this podcast where I'm going to ask you an off the wall, like out of left field question. You don't even know what it is, but I thought of it during our conversation and I'm super excited to get your perspective on it and we can talk about it. One thing we talked about was how LSA, one of the ranking factors, smaller one, is the bookings, right? Instant bookings. I can turn that on. It books it directly on my calendar. Customer does. How is that going to change with AI?
This is such a good question. I think they'll be able to do it. They'll be able to book it. If you say book this, it's going to literally be able to go and click that button and put your info in there.
Yeah.
And then tell you when your time is.
I think so.
It'll literally come back and be like, you are now scheduled for 4 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
Here, check from
insert client here.
Insert client here.
Right? From a service provider. I think that's such a good point because I agree with you. Like I look at the restaurant industry right now and how some of them have reserve with Google.
Yeah.
Where literally you just put your information. Hey, I want a reservation for 7 p.m. It's for 4 people at this restaurant. Send, right?
Right.
And then it comes back and says confirmed or does this work or like whatever. Like that is already starting to happen within some other service businesses. Easier for them because we as a consumer go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
But I think that's coming for us.
Well, and I think what's interesting is with all the, like just equipment that people have in their homes that are connected, what if your equipment was able to respond to like any kind of AI and be like, I'm broken. And then send out an alert to then send a tech and be like, we noticed that your washer and dryer is broken. Do you want to send a tech over?
Do you want to? Yeah, we noticed a leak.
So you're already, your own equipment's already sending those alerts out anyways.
No. Could you imagine?
Yep. Your AC is like, I'm running out of juice. Would you like me to send a tech over?
I see that you used this provider before and they put their unique code. I have no idea, but like, geez. I think we're a little over our skis there, but I do think you're right. Like when I pose that question around, hey, we already have instant booking on LSA profiles, Google's probably going to push us towards reserve with Google and like send my AI to go, hey, I'm available. I work from home on Wednesdays here at camp and I want a tech to come in during that time while I'm home.
Yeah.
Book it.
It's interesting really quickly. I know that I don't know if we talked about getting a quote. But Google is pushing towards getting more quotes for people.
Tell me more.
So in the LSA platform, it's not just message lead anymore. It's get a quote. And that is, like I said, message leads are difficult to book. Getting a quote's even more difficult to book. So engage that client just like a message lead and ask them a question and say, how old is your equipment? How old is this? That helps just gain that trust again inside that get a quote feature, which is now very prevalent in LSA.
I think that's funny because one of the episodes we did of this, I was chatting with Katie and she was at a conference, and at that conference, I think it was with Google or Google was in the room. They said, websites are going to go away, blah, 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 like all the things. And all the digital marketers are like, oh gosh, oh man, what are we going to do? And it came up that we need to start adding pricing to our sites. Right? Because the search engines, LLMs, large language models all want to see pricing. And I think this perfectly follows get a quote. And the story that Katie told me was they said, oh man, we're never going to get pricing from our clients. There's no way. Like, of course not. And the representative from Google said, I think it's cute that you think Google's not going to get that.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Like, I think that's cute that like
tap.
Yeah.
Tap.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. Google's going to get it for sure. So Camp's position on this currently is range. Right on your site, post a range, but I think it's perfectly falls in line. Like in a quote, it's happening. You can go buy a car and you know exactly how much it's listed for.
Yep. Exactly.
So I know there's variables there, and it's coming for us, but. Okay, Brent, I'm dubbing you the LSA Whisperer, the LSA Guru. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us on the Digital Download.
Absolutely, Taylor.
I'm super excited we were able to jump into the fundamentals. I know this is back to the basics, right? And there's probably more in LSA that we need to be covering. But this is a perfect way to go, hey, not a set it and forget it.
Yep.
These are the 7 things we should be doing. Let's go out and win.
Exactly. And LSA has heard that it needs to change a little bit, and it's already going to be shifting to Google Ads, and more changes to come. I think we're going to start seeing a whole different LSA landscape very soon.
Just how search changes, I agree with you 100%. Brent, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Taylor.
Join us on the next one for the Digital Download. We're going to be talking about the local trifecta, NAP, citations, and backlinks as part of our Back to Basics series.